Hi, this is Mrs. Nagayama, and this recording will help you with Quiz 3.04. Please review sections 3.01, 3.02, 3.03, and 3.04 before taking this quiz. So the topics for Quiz 3.04 that we're going to talk about today is cell theory, cellular organization, and the difference between plant and animal cells. So let's start with the cell theory. So the cell theory is made up of three different components. The first component is all living things are made up of one or more cells. The smallest unit of life is a cell. That's number 2. And number 3, cells come from living cells that already exist. They do not just appear out of nowhere. Okay, so these are the three main points of the cell theory. All things are made up of cells. All living things are made up of cells. Cell is the smallest unit of life. And cells come from living cells that already exist. So here's a sample question. According to the cell theory, where do all new cells come from? Is it from macrophages, from other cells, from tissues, or from organs? Let's take a look at the slide we just looked at. It says the three components, if we look at the last one, it says that cells come from living cells that already exist. So the best answer for this question would be B, from other cells. Cells come from other cells. They do not just appear from nowhere. The next thing that we're going to go over is the levels of cellular organization. We've already gone over this concept, but just as a review, remember that the biggest level of cellular organization is organism. Within an organism, you have an organ system. Within an organ system, you have a group of organs. Within an organ, you have a group of tissue. And the tissue is made up of the smallest unit of life, which is cells. So you need to know this progression. So here's a sample question. What are groups of tissues working together to perform a specific function? Are they cells, organs, organ systems, or organisms? Remember, it's a group of tissues, so it would be something a little bit bigger than tissues because it's a group of them working together. So if we look here, tissues would be a group of cells, and right to the left of it you see that an organ is a group of tissues. So the best answer for this one would be B, organs. The next topic that we're going to go over is the differences between animal and plant cells. So we know that all living things are made up of cells, and two kind of big categories of cells are animal versus plant cells. So on the left you see an animal cell, on the right you see plant cells. Animal and plant cells look fairly similar, however plant cells kind of have an extra added features. For example, we have the cell wall, which is the outer covering for protection. We have the chloroplast, where photosynthesis occurs, and we have vacuoles, where plants store water and nutrients. So these three things are unique about plant cells and really help plant cells perform their function of retaining water, of making glucose, and making sure that their cells are protected. So the sample question from quiz 3.04 is, which structure is present in plant cells but not animal cells, and is the site of photosynthesis? So we're looking at where does photosynthesis happen. Is the nucleus, the chloroplast, the cell wall, or the central vacuole? So we see here that the chloroplast is where photosynthesis occurs and makes glucose from sunlight. So the best answer for this one would be B, chloroplast. That is where photosynthesis occurs and is only present in plant cells and not animal cells. If you have any questions about this quiz or want more resources, please email me. Remember, you can take the quiz as many times as you need to. I would highly suggest you take it until you get a 60% or better on the quiz.